Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, the latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie to come out. You know, it's it when you think about it, the Ninja Turtles franchise is one of those that it kind of refuses to die, and it like the phoenix, every time it dies from it has a way to come back. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just trying to think how this IP is kind of incredible when you think about it, because ever since it came, it come from different incarnations over and over and over again, and it still holds up. I mean, look at me. I am one of those guys who actually like the Ninja Turtles franchise. I basically grew up with it. I did come out of in the phase where the '80s Turtle came out, and I watch it. I watch it religiously, and well, it has a good soft spot on my heart of the whole franchise. And I've been watching some of the movies, some of the TV series, and I do have kind of like a range of opinions around the franchise. To give you a little bit of a small synopsis, at least on the movie side of the Ninja Turtles, the first two movies still holds up to this day, especially the first one. The live action one with the Jim Henson puppetry. It's still amazing. And the second one is a little bit silly, but it has a soft spot. The third one, yeah, when you were a kid, you kind of are on the innocent side. I was saying like, well, it wasn't too bad. That is when you are an adult and you realize that it has a lot of flaws in this one. I didn't see the CGI one. I will say that I really hate the Michael Bay movies. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle version of the Michael Bay version, I hate it. I didn't even see the second one because I hated it so much. The first one that I was like, nope, I am not touching that one. I'm really not touching one. It was ugly. It was dumb. Okay, maybe you're gonna say that. Well, that's supposed to be Ninja Turtles, but not that dumb. It was nonsensical. It was mean-spirited. Personally, it was kind of like mean-spirited. It wasn't funny. So I hated the Michael Bay movie so much that I even went to the customer service to complain and tried to ask for my money back. No, that's real. I wanted my money back from that movie. I spit on it. I spit on it because it was a really hideous movie. And of course, now we got this one, Mutant Mayhem, which is another reincarnation of the Ninja Turtles, but this time we see it on the eyes of a marijuana addict. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I just say that because it is made by, well, the eternal teenage Seth Rogan. Yeah, you're eternal teenage because of all the weed that you smoke. Yeah, it's not that I hate the guy. No, it's that every time I think of Seth Rogan, I think most of his movies, and it's always about the weed with this guy. And yeah, I know that he's kind of like, the guy, but he's also all about the weed. Of course, that this one he might have to tone it down because, well, he's making an IP that is basically for your younger audience, because, well, for each generation we got a younger audience and so on. And I think that it's a good time considering that another IP of the Ninja Turtles have just ended, at least on the TV series side. I know that Rise of the Ninja Turtles came out and now it ended. I wasn't interested on that one. Personally, I don't like the designs of the Rise of the Ninja Turtles. And this one, well, I do have a little bit of opinions, but also because it is Seth Rogan, I was a little bit on the skeptical side if it's gonna attract me, and it's mostly because Seth Rogan, when it's about animation, it came with a slew of controversy, and let's not forget that the last time Seth Rogan tried his hands on animation, he made Santa Inc., which up to this day it is considered one of the worst animated series there is, and I saw bits of it and I can see it. It was really mean spirited, so to the point that I absolutely hate it. So this is why we were kind of the trailer doesn't look so bad, but with a name with Seth Rogen, it was like, I don't know. And you can tell that the movie wanted to attract a lot of attention by having kind of like an all-star cast. I mean, it has John Cena, Seth Rogen in this one. Ice Cube is gonna be there. Look, I got some names on like Rosa Byrne, Post Maloney, Brady Boone. There's Ice Cube again, Jakarta's, and of course they got my favorite actor, Jackie Chan. They got Jackie Chan to play Master Splinter. And for me, every time there's Jackie Chan, I'm in it. But either way, I was still gonna go there, considering that is Ninja Turtles, a franchise that I grew up with, and I have a soft spot out of it. And lo and behold, I finally watch it, and you know what? Santa Inc. It's not, because that movie was really entertaining. I came out really liking it, and I've been seeing some reviewers and they're saying that, wow, this is kind of like the best Ninja Turtles ever, and I was saying, hold it. Let's not overhype this movie. I'm gonna say that this movie is really good. It's really good for a Ninja Turtles, but let's not overhype this scene, because there are some flaws that I can't find, and one of these flaws that I can tell you right now is that this movie really feels like it is a pilot for a TV series or another series of movies. That's how it feels like. But either way, you're gonna get really entertained thanks to the kind of humor that it has. Although the humor, there's a little bit that I have to talk about it. It has a good cast. The animation is really good. You can tell that there is a semblance of inspiration from the Spider-Verse movies, although it has its own touch that kind of makes this, for a CGI movie. It kind of feels a little bit like a Will Vinton claymation movie. That part is a plus. And story wise, well, it is technically entertaining, at least for Ninja Turtle thing. It does a little bit much its own thing. I mean, every incarnation of the Ninja Turtles always kind of comes out with their own versions of the origin story. Some they make some, how can I say it? It's basically the same story, but they come with different routes on how they're gonna tell kind of like the history. Like in this case, there is no Hamato Yoshi, who either he is Hamato Yoshi transformed into a rat, or it is a rat that belongs to Hamato Yoshi, or in this case, not. In this time, the origins basically has a rat who suffered from from being a rat that doesn't like humans, and until it finds the turtles covered in ooze, and then he and the turtle gets mutated. That's basically kind of like the origin story in this movie. As for the pacing, well, the pacing in the story, if I could make it like a synopsis, is that the turtles are now teenagers. They are longing to be accepted by society, because society, they don't accept turtles. That is until they meet April O'Neil, and since she's a journalist and she opened up with them, they just find that this might be an opportunity to be accepted by society by capturing a criminal called the Superfly. And that's all I have to say in the story as a story synopsis, which it is fresh enough to be its own movie. It's different from the usual, the Ninja Turtles lore that you might be familiar. But when you think about it, that's basically the beauty of every incarnation of Ninja Turtles. Each one, it is familiar enough, but yet fresh enough to keep you interest, and they kind of play around, how could I say, with some of the personalities, or the how the characters look here and there, and that's basically interesting. Of course, that they always keep up with the personality of the Ninja Turtles. Like Leonardo is always the honorable one. Raphael is always the brash and rude one. Michelangelo is always kind of like the comical party guy, and Donatello is also the tech guy. Although here's a little bit of a nitpick that I do have. The voice actor of the Turtles are fine, but something about Donatello kind of rubbed me in the wrong way, because everyone, Leo, Raph, and Mike, they do have their their brunch, this kind of like adult-esque teenage voice, but Donatello somehow he keeps his voice intact. He's kind of like, hey, I sound like this, like like a little child. What is up with that voice? It's a voice that never hit puberty compared to the other turtles, and that kind of makes the other turtles sound kind of exactly the same. Except for Donatello, who has basically, the voice is pretty unique compared to the others. So I think maybe if they could have a little bit of a different arrangement on the voice of all four, so we could recognize each other. But no, the only one who has a distinctive voice is Donatello. It is basically a very unique one. Also, a nitpick from recent incarnation from the Ninja Turtles that kind of bother me is that why the insistence of having Donatello wear glasses? I know that he's the nerdy guy, and I know that he is the tech guy, and I know he's the geeky guy, but I am not exactly very fond of giving him glasses, because that's very stereotypical of, he's the nerdy guy, this is why he wears glasses, and it never fits. For the Turtles, I don't think the glasses fit. And maybe it's just me, because I have a grudge against the Michael Bay version, because the Michael Bay version is the one that started having Donatello wear glasses, and I hate it. I hate, really beginning to hate all these people giving Donatello glasses. Because what's the point? Just to make him look like a nerd? Whew. Yeah, that's kind of like my nitpick out of it. And of course, now I also have to talk about the April O'Neil of this movie, in which April O'Neil really had a kind of like a kind of like a small controversy ever since the trailer came out, because not many people were very fond of her being pudgy. It's not exactly because of fat shaming. Well, it kind of is, and I can understand, because April O'Neil was always seen kind of like the girl character, and many of her incarnations, they find her kind of like attractive. If I could say which is my favorite April O'Neil incarnation, is probably from the 2012 version of Ninja Turtles. That one I like her a lot, because she has much energy. She's not exactly the damsel in distress, and she's a good character in that one. And I like her design too. Until they begin to, well, I didn't want to get into that territory, but they kind of asked me for it. Rise of the Ninja Turtles, they race swap her, and while I was kind of like skeptical, because I didn't watch the series, I didn't care enough, to give it some care about it. I'm glad that it didn't cause a controversy, because I was like, oh, well, it's a reincarnation. They have it's different taste, it's different approach, and times change. We have to be open-minded about it. But in this case, making her a little bit kind of like a little bit of it's not like she's a beast. No, she's a little bit pudgy. This caused a kind of like a controversy, because people didn't see her. They wanted her to be pretty, but pretty means meeting the eye of the beholder, it seems. So I was personally, I was open-minded to that. It didn't kind of cause me a lot of problem, but you know what? I have kind of like a personal taste, and I can understand it doesn't appeal many people, but in this one I'm willing to let it go, and as long as she is well written, and honestly, she was well written. They made her kind of like a character who wants to be a journalist. She's in high school like any other teenager. She opens up to the turtles, and well, she also has her own problems, in which she basically is being teased by the other kids, because she had an incident where she was picked to become the morning announcement girl, and she got so nervous that she vomited in front of the cameras, and she became viral, and she wants to take the opportunity by capturing the villain of the movie, which is Superfly. So she can take out she make it out big and take out the reputation as the puke girl. Oh, and by the way, yes, you're gonna see vomit. This movie has vomit, green vomit, that is, and boy that it lingers in that scene. So I hope that you don't eat too much in the movie theater, because that thing is gross. And then, okay, now let me talk about Master Splinter, because that whenever there's Jackie Chan, I'm always in it, and they gave him a better treatment than Kung Fu Panda. Yeah, and I like what they did with Master Splinter. Although, is it me, or when he was younger and he sported the beard, he kind of looked like Bob Ross? But anyway, they make him. This Splinter, like I said, is no Hamato Yoshi. This one, it is a rat who he comes off as human hating because, well, he wasn't treated well by humans. He adopted the turtles and grew up like his father, and he did try to go to the human world with the turtles, but unfortunately he was treated as a monster, and that made him kind of like hating the turtles. And honestly, that becomes a story arc within him that he maybe in which he should see also some of the good on humanity also. Oh, and about where you might also ask where they pick up the the ninja license. Well, they kind of, this one I will say that they took the lazy route, almost a little bit similar to the Michael Bay version, in which out of pop culture and thinking that they must defend themselves, they just watch movies and books in order to train themselves to become ninjas. And that's all you get to how they train. And of course, we got the bad guys. Sorry, I repeated myself. We got the bad guys, and I already mentioned Superfly, which is this fly who grew up with the mutant gene. He's basically the quote-unquote son of Baxter Stockman, who he only appears briefly during the opening. And of course he rescues and raises an army of other mutants, which are what was it? There's Leatherhead, Wingnut, Mondo Gecko, Bebop Rocksteady. Some of them I kind of forget the name. Genki's Toad. You know what? Let me check out some of them. Ray Fillet there is, and another one. Genki's Frog there is. There's another one that I kind of forget the name, but I apologize. And by the way, two of them, they're gender swap. They gave him the Jellystone treatment, in which they say that, you know what, there's not too many female things, so you know what, in order to increase the ratio, let's gender swap at least two of them. I'm not gonna say who are the ones that were gender swap, but I'm okay with that. Ice Cube really plays very well as Superfly. He's both charming, but at the same time intimidating, and he becomes kind of like the bad guy. Although there is also other bad guy, which is the human side, which it is this woman. I think it was called Cynthia. I don't remember exactly. In which she leads this team, and they want the mutants because they want to build an army of mutants that they can control. So they want the mutants so they can milk the mutagen out of them and create that army. That is technically I will give it this as a con that this movie has, because when they just basically just there to showcase, you know, that the world is also filled with evil humans, and practically this movie could have helped if without them. They're not exactly relevant. That is until the mid-credit scene, in which they're only used to sequel bait the movie, or probably it's gonna be a TV series. No. I think it's gonna be more like a sequel than a TV than a movie. But either way, they become kind of irrelevant, but at the same time, just relevant to enough for a sequel bait. I already talked to you, and that's all about the. From what can I say about the characters? And then there is the cinematography, which I already talked to you that the animation is really good. I think this one, I think I like that animation much better than Spider-Verse, and that's me kind of saying because it didn't hurt my eyes like Spider-Verse did. It's not that I'm downplaying Spider-Verse because I know that there's a legion of fans that really adore the Spider-Verse movies. But I think that honestly, the Mutant Mayhem didn't hurt my eyes as much as Across the Spider-Verse did. And also, it did help that the movie is only 90 minutes long. And well, the pacing is fine, I'll say. How can I explain the kind of like the animation? I already told you that a little bit the character design kind of remind me of the Will Vintage claymation without being claymation. And and I already gave my nitpick on why Donatello wear glasses, so I think I already covered that part. As for the humor, I think that this is where the movie kind of topples a little bit down because since it is a Seth Rogan movie, you should know that a lot of the material with Seth Rogan, it could feel that the humor is mostly improv, and that's what I noticed in how the characters talk. And it's mostly them, talking at the same time, going like, "Ooh, yeah, how's it going? That was awesome." And they're moving around, sometimes even kind of giving me like mini twerks, like yeah, something like that. This is basically how they mostly talk about the movie, and basically they spout out a little bit of a joke here and there, and so it's basically like watching the Pineapple Express, but with Ninja Turtles. Maybe it's a bad example because I never saw Pineapple Express. If there's the kind of humor that I'm mostly familiar with Seth Rogen is with This Is the End. And that's how I felt with most of the dialogue. That it's pretty rambly, and sometimes they come up with a lot of pop reference. And speaking of that, there's a lot of pop culture reference in this movie. Sometimes you get these songs like Push It to the Limit, and well incorporated, although the movie feels a little bit cheap, because saying that, okay, instead of creating our own of our own soundtrack, let's put licensed music and let's put it there. Oh yeah, they also there's a moment in which there's the "Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go." Yeah, because we already know Ninja Turtles are out, and also has some ties in with Vanilla Ice. And like I said, there's also mentioned a lot of pop culture references. Most of the time they talk about Marvel and also Attack on Titan. Now that I think about it, I haven't seen the last seasons of Attack on Titan. We're still waiting for the third part, final part. So, but be as it may, I just came out with a smile on my face. I thoroughly enjoyed this Ninja Turtle incarnation, and I'm actually pretty eager to see where it goes. Oh yeah, now that I think about it, I really like the theme of the movie, in which it kind of showcases some of the the mutants wanting to become part of society, but they also know that they want to find ways to integrate with them so they don't become monsters. This is mostly centered on the turtles, and there's also give room for Master Splinter to grow up. He's not exactly be the master, just being the master. Although we all of course love the Master Splinter that is strict with a kind heart and showcasing showcasing how could it hit ninja mastery. I will say that probably the 2012 Splinter is probably my favorite incarnation of Master Splinter. Strict, strict but kind. That's what I like. But in this case, we just get kind of like just a rat who loves his sons, but of course he still has to learn to cope with the humans because he had bad experience, and it kind of makes him a contrast more to Superfly than the turtles with Superfly. And they don't want it to put it like so rough to the point that well, the movie is not human hating, to be honest. It almost goes that way, but it did have a right heart in its place. Oh man, I babble here and there, but you know what I mean. So overall, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Mayhem, it was pretty good. I enjoy it a lot. If I give it some negatives out of it, is that I am the kind, again, I'm not the kind of guy who likes to overhype a movie, even if it is really good. It might be one of my favorite movies of this year, but that I should analyze it when the end of the year comes out. But I did highly recommend it. You go check it out. You're gonna have like a hell of a ninja movie. And I say you this with a smile on my face into the camera. Wait a minute. Into the camera. Okay, I'm getting a little bit of the camera cheese.